let's do it.
Hello there, and welcome back to Paranormal Experience Radio. I am Kat Hobson, your host, and we have been having some technical difficulties here, which live radio and the paranormal do not always blend. So we're trying again. So at any rate, thank you for your patience, and we're back. So it's the paranormal. It's the subject matter. I firmly believe that sometimes things just don't want it to happen. So let me let people on Facebook know that we're back. And, we were talking about equipment on investigations. We were talking about what y'all really enjoy. I know that I love having my handy cams. I have handy cams. I have a Sony. Oh my goodness, full spectrum camera that has nightlight. I like all of this stuff. So, but I'm kind of a closet tech geek. So,
It's fun to play with, but you don't need all that.
it is fun to play with, but you know what? For every piece of equipment that you put out, that's 3 or 4 hours worth of review because each piece needs to be gone through.
Yes.
And
I'll tell you, I've said this before if you listen to the show. Just the photos that I take alone, the still photos, I'll get them from my camera, from Michelle's camera, from Dustn, or whoever happens to be with us taking photos. I'll go through them over and over again, and sometimes 3 and 4 times, if not 5. And just before I get ready to say, okay, I'm done looking at this, I'm getting rid of it, then I catch it, then I see it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It happens almost every time. I mean, we've got some really great photos up on the Facebook page. I think on Dead Zone and RIP, if you guys want to take a look at those.
Absolutely. And that Facebook page, if you go in and type at Rural Indiana Paranormal, that will bring up RIP, Rural Indiana Paranormal, and you will be able to look on their page and see their evidence.
Right. And on the Dead Zone page as well. I mean, if you
yes.
go to Dead Zone,
and that's just at the Dead Zone Paranormal Radio Show.
Right.
Which, y'all do such a good job. And I think that probably hearing Michelle describe that remote being tossed up, thrown at her, and watching the client run away, I mean, that had to be so disconcerting to just be left standing there with something that was being a little feisty with you.
Oh, that's not the first.
Yeah, I can't say that it was the most comfortable thing,
right?
But that's what we're there to do. So
it is.
You just got to see it through.
That isn't the first time that she's been. What's the word I'm looking for?
Abandoned.
No, been accosted.
Yeah.
By something. Yeah. I mean, she can tell you one of the times was at one of the investigations, the public investigation at the Zora Shrine.
Yeah.
Actually, a couple of things happened there. I mean, really strange. I mean, and again, too, talking about cameras, there was a time when all 3 of us were on stage, and Michelle was picking up on something. Dustn was picking up on it. I'm standing beside both of them with a camera. She's saying they're both saying it's right there. How'd that go? You can tell it better than I can. You know what I mean? Either one of you, Michelle or Dustn.
Which part? I love to tell this story. This is one of my favorite stories.
Yeah.
Because
I never
Well, we had been, this was the third time we went back, right? This was our third time there.
I think
And we had been through a lot with this entity that was there. He was a nasty, nasty person when he was alive. And he admitted, he admitted in answering on the K2 meter, he admitted the things that he did. Now, I do have to give props to the first time that we went, a lady that was with us. I thought that she was just making stuff up because she had like a vision of something that happened, and I thought that she was just telling a story. I didn't really know her that well, but it actually all came to be true. What she saw really happened, and I started just out of curiosity asking the spirit if any of the stuff that she had seen was true, and he was answering, and yes, he was a murderer. He had killed people.
Oh, gracious.
He was a horrible person, and with the help of she doesn't like to be called a psychic, but a dear friend of mine. She is a medium. She doesn't like to have labels like that. I call her my spiritual advisor.
Mm-hmm.
But I went and talked to her about it to see what she could get, and she actually, without me telling her some of the stuff, she told me what she was getting, and it corresponded with what had happened, the answers that I was getting on the K2. So like I said before, the thing that I want to do more than anything is to help. There were some spirits there that were trapped, and so we were able to get them out of there. And so that kind of left him alone with nobody there to hold hostage, and he didn't want to come out and play anymore. Mm-hmm. So I was getting really frustrated because he was hiding, but I knew where he was hiding, so I went. And I told them. I know that they didn't believe me. They were like, yeah, whatever, Michelle, she's off on the deep end again. But I said, I'm going to go get him. I know where he is. I'm going to get him. I'm making him come out. So I went to where I had been told by my spiritual advisor where he was hiding. I went there, and I talked, and I told him, you have nothing to lose anymore. You've already told the truth. You put it all out there. Now why don't you come and show us, that you're still here. Come in and talk to us. And basically now's your chance to still be famous. You can, we'll get your picture out there. We'll tell your story, which we don't really tell the whole story. It's pretty morbid, but
we can't.
No, we try to, we don't want to ever upset the client. But anyway, so he came out. I could feel him. Like I said, I've gotten to the point where I can feel energies, not always, but lots of times I can feel the energy, and I felt him come through the door, and I just said, come on, follow me. Let's go back this way. We're going to go into the auditorium. And we went in there, and we went up on stage with Dustn and Lee, and it seemed like Dustn said, he goes, I feel a difference. There's something different. I think you brought him. And I said, I know I did. And so we're talking to him, trying to get him to respond, and he won't. But we're standing there, and he's not responding to the K2 or anything. And all of a sudden, I see like a little white light. It looked like it just kind of went by me really quick. And not like a white light that's like a flashlight light, but it just, in the darkness, it looked like there was something lighter than the dark that went past me. And I saw Dustn, because it went from where Dustn was to the right of me, and it went to the left. And I saw him follow it. He was watching it too. I said, you saw that, right? He said, yeah, I saw that. That's him. I'm telling you, that's got to be him. What is that? And it kind of went around again, and we were watching it. And then all of a sudden, I could feel something in front of me changing, and he was right there. I could see his shape.
So he was trying to manifest in front of you.
Right. He was darker than the dark, And I told them, I said, he's standing right in front of me. I can see him. And so, Lee's like, well, where's he at? So I outlined him with my fingers. I said, here's his head. I took both my hands and I did an outline, starting at the top. Here's his head. Here's his shoulders, his arms. Like he's standing right in front of me. And so I did that twice because Lee's like, I don't see anything.
Wow.
I don't see anything. I'm like, watch. Look right here, Lee. He's right here. And I outlined him again. And Lee said that was one of the only times he ever got chills because he was watching me and I traced the same exact size and shape the second time. And I said, because I'm doing that because I see him. Well, he started coming towards me, and I started backing up. And then I remembered, though, that the one thing you cannot do is show fear. You cannot let them get any fear from because they feed on that. And so I immediately stopped, and I stood up for myself again. And I said, no, you're not going to scare me. You can't hurt me. There's nothing you can do to me. And he was gone.
Yeah,
but it was
a wild trip.
Oh, that was an experience like I've never had before or since.
And I saw
to see him standing there.
That had to be so disconcerting when he started to manifest, though. I mean, when you could actually see him.
The first time we were there, he was playing around and he had us thinking that he was a child.
Mm.
And I thought I was talking to a child. There was a child there, so I can't say for sure that I wasn't talking to a child, and he might have just been there too, playing around. I don't know, but I felt him. I felt the child, who I thought was the child. I put my hand out, and I said, "Just touch me, touch my hand," and I could feel the energy touching my hand, and that was the first time I'd ever experienced anything like that. So I stood up and I was explaining it, and all of a sudden it was like a tingle, like an electric tingle.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden I started feeling that same tingling in my feet, and it started going up my legs. And like I said, I'd never experienced that before, and I thought, oh my gosh, this child is trying to attach itself to me because maybe it thinks that, I remind them of their mom or something. I don't know. And it kind of weirded me out a little bit. And I told them, and I did not run, though. So I want that to be known right now. I never run. Lee gives me a hard time sometimes. He says that I took off. And I said, guys, I have to leave this room. I have to calm down. I have to get out of here because I don't know what's going on, but I have to leave. I just know I have to leave. So I left the room for a little bit, and then I went back in, obviously, after a few minutes. And that's when everything just went crazy. That's when he started answering questions and told us what really happened.
Sometimes discretion is the better part of valor, especially if something is touching you that you're not anticipating. So,
yeah.
In order to keep the time sequence right, I am going to go ahead and we're going to break for our top of the hour newscast. This is 5 minutes, and we'll be back right after this. Maybe there'll be a little good news in here for a change, right? Y'all take care. Go stretch those legs, fill your wine glass, your coffee cup, and we'll be back.
NPR podcasts are now available on every platform. Check out all our shows at npr.org/podcasts. That's npr.org/podcasts.
Live from NPR News in Washington, I'm Jack Speer. President Trump is reacting to reports that special counsel Robert Mueller may be wrapping up his investigation. NPR's Mara Liasson has the story.
While Mueller will be required to provide a confidential report to the Attorney General is not required to release that report to the public or to Congress. So the president says it's all up to his new Attorney General, Bill Barr.
That'll be totally up to the new Attorney General. He's a tremendous man, a tremendous person who really respects this country and respects the Justice Department. So that'll be totally up to him.
In his confirmation hearings, Barr said he'd treat any report from Mueller with as much transparency as possible, which did not satisfy Democrats. According to public opinion polls, overwhelming majorities of the public say if there is a Mueller report, it should be released in its entirety.